Hello everyone and welcome to Sondering Tarot. This is going to be your full moon in Gemini reading for December of 2022. As I said, the full moon is in Gemini. We also have a Mars retrograde. So, Mars retrograde allows us to slow down and with purpose. This is so we can go a little bit deeper about things that we need to release. We may actually be experiencing some impatience during this full moon. Also, there's probably a couple things that may be coming back around this full moon. That way we can actually finally heal it and address it before we enter 2022. So don't be surprised if things seem like they're on a repeat cycle. I'm going to go ahead and do a Celtic cross for you. We have the Baroque Tarot, the Magical Dogs, the Earth, Moon, and Shadow Oracle, and the Tarot of Dragons to use. I will go ahead and put their names and their creators in the description box below. I will also put timestamps in the description box below. That way, once I actually start shuffling, if you want to skip that part of the reading and go directly to the reading after this intro, please feel free to do that. And let us begin. And this is just to guide me. What is the heart of the matter for this full moon for the collective? Oh, no surprise there. Alright. And what is the recent past? What is the recent past? Alright, let's do what's above us. Spirit, what's above us? What's the highest we can achieve? Oh, I like that. Spirit, also, what is our obstacle? And yes, I am fully aware I'm doing this out of order. Spirit, what is our obstacle? Okay. Rotate that to the left. Not surprised there either. Spirit, what's the below us? What's the lowest we can achieve? Of course. And near future? Of course. Alright, and what advice are we giving ourselves or gaining from others? Spirit, what advice are we giving ourselves or advice we're getting from others? Okay, we're going to move on. Spirit, what's the environment? Or influences from our environment? Ooh, like that. Alright, Spirit, hope and fear. Spirit, hope and a fear. Giving what's our hope and our fear. What is our hope and our fear? Alright, Spirit, and what's our outcome? I landed perfectly sideways. Spirit, do you want that in the upright or the reverse? Up. Spirit, which way did you want that Five of Pentacles? The upright or the reverse? Okay, I have it in the right spot. Spirit, what's our outcome? Spirit, what's our outcome? I'm glad I asked. That is beautiful. Spirit, is there anything more for the outcome? Okay. Spirit, what else do we have for the outcome? Ah. Spirit, what comes after the Chariot? gosh, they are giving you the hugest outcome ever as far as this. And I know I'm probably off camera, like from right about here, but all right, Spirit, do you want anything more for the outcome? Alright, do you want any more cards for the outcome? Yes. Oh God. Alright. Here comes out the Magician. That's the Magician. Ah, there it is. Okay. I do believe that is all I want for that. Which means we can officially... Whoop. Bad thing about a round crystal. Doesn't like to stay. Alright, folks. We're actually going to get into this now. I do have all your cards on the table. You can't see all of the outcome because you have like 13 cards for your outcome. I've never seen an outcome that long. I do use this Baroque tarot for the same week this full moon reading is going to be posted. You're going to see a lot of repeat cards because my ancestors keep calling to use this particular deck. So don't be surprised with the daily tarot readings if you keep seeing the same exact cards. You're going to see it and there's nothing I can do about it. It's just the energy reading through the same. You're going to see this in bits and pieces because the energy is there. This is more of an overview. So please check the daily readings to see the day-to-day. You'll be able to see it transform because I can see it just here out on the table. And let's go ahead and begin. We're going to start with our Heart of the Matter, which, because I have this set up so high, we have this Three of Pentacles, Judgment, and the Star card, which I think is particularly lovely in this deck, just so you know. So, yeah, we're kind of rebuilding ourselves here. We're called to heal and to take action on that, to take notice of things that are not as they should be. Past wounds, past traumas, and to address those, to close cycles down with this, to finally heal at last. Like I said, don't be surprised if you guys have something come around that you thought you had healed and it's actually not fully healed. This is another last opportunity to go ahead and finally heal that for good and close that cycle down to where you don't have to touch it again. But like I said, you're going to have to work at it. You're being called to work at it. Mars in retrograde serves a purpose. We are given time to slow down and actually pinpoint and analyze things enough to identify and heal properly, which we may not have done before. And I kind of wonder, maybe we can use this oracle deck here. Spirit, what are we healing? Just clarifying this star card here, if they would. And we have the Chameleon, adaptability. I do actually have a video coming at you, I think on the 10th, that is called Adaptability for a reason. Shape-shifting conformity. So this is, of course, as you can see, she's in a mask. It's wearing masks that, or roles that people have given you, and you needing to shed those and be your authentic self. Cold moon, stillness, abundance, withdraw. So this is your kind of hermit mode. Yes, pause, reflect. You're being called to take a moment to time out and to address these. Summer fire, passion, creativity, desire. Some of you are going to be addressing wounds that are affecting your creativity. So your drive, your passion, your motivation, and I'm going to say some of this is for mental health, because some of that is blocked. Some of you may be struggling with depression, and part of that is because it's Mars in retrograde. So you're moving a little bit slower, everything's moving a little bit slower. And for those of us that may suffer from mental health issues such as depression, it's very low energy right now, and you may struggle to see things on the positive side, to have energy to do anything. So you're going to probably see creative blocks, low energy, you're not going to have a lot of motivation, you're going to have kind of a lurch to where you may get stuck, and it's because of the energy. So don't be surprised of that, and that's what we need to address, that's what we need to heal. So now that you realize we are trying to heal, let's view the obstacle real quick, which is the Hermit card in reverse, the Tower in reverse, and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So our obstacle is all those things that we haven't closed down, all those things that we haven't changed yet, all those things that we don't want to look at. This is, of course, what we're healing, but we may not want to address those things. We may want to turn away from them. We may not want to answer that call to heal. As I said, there might be some low energy going around, some blockages, and you may want to refuse to take the time to address the issue. And for some of you, these are issues that have circled around and come back to you. They're coming back to you for a reason, and it's so you face them head on and actually do something about them this time, or put enough work into them this time. Alright, we're going to go over here to the recent past. Queen of Swords, Seven of Cups, and the Page of Wands in reverse. So in the recent past, we've been able to be honest with ourselves and realize what our choices are. We've been shrewd, but Page of Wands in reverse tells me that we haven't exactly taken action on them. So just because we're faced with choices doesn't mean that we've actually made the choice and ran with it. We may have ignored it, may have not had the energy to deal with it. So we avoided the issue. Which Spirit, you want to clarify the recent past for me, please? Let's see if they'll give it from the Tarot of Dragons here. Spirit, will you clarify the recent past for me? They don't want to give it from this deck. Okay. We'll go over here to the magical dogs, see if they will give it from this deck. Spirit, will you clarify the recent past for me? Six of Sky, which is the Six of Swords. And the Five of Fire, which is your Five of Wands. So we had the choice of transitioning from all this, but there was conflict, whether we're transitioning away from conflict, or I feel like you had conflicting emotions about the actual transition. You didn't want to deal with it. Like I said, avoidance. You turned away from it. And just so you can see these cards. Sorry, I didn't hold them up earlier. Put these back. Okay, on to the lowest we can achieve. Our lowest expectation here is the Seven of Pentacles. That there's still more work to be done. That our reward is not forthcoming yet. Which is accurate, because we have a cycle that's clearly not closed down. We've avoided it in the past, and we're asked to heal it either for the first time or again. We didn't address it earlier. So the lowest we can achieve is that we still have more work to do. Makes sense. And I want to get a different take on this. For the Seven of Pentacles, the lowest we can achieve and having to do more work. How's our feelings on that, Spirit? Emperor, Devil, and the Shaman, which is our Magician card. Hopefully you can see all three of those. Yep. I think that about sums it up. We have full control over what work we do or we don't. But we do have some attachments to how things are and how we want things to go. But we do have the power to change them. So the power is in your hands. Of course, the Magician card says that. So does the Emperor. So there's really strong energy. But this Devil card is your problem. You might have some hang-ups. And part of this, yes, can be emotional. Some of it can be outside influence. So this having more work to do may be a bit of a struggle. You may feel like running from it again. You opted not to do the work in the past, or when you realized there was a choice or that you needed to address something, you didn't take action on it right away. And this Devil card could very well be distraction. So you may feel like it's not important or imperative enough to put in the work or something to that effect, and you may give in to distraction. One of those, oh, well, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, well, that's not important. I'll do it later. All right, and what is the highest we can achieve? What is above us? We have the Emperor again, and the Six of Pentacles. So the best we can do is to actually take charge and start putting effort into it. and making changes, to start controlling how things go, or at least having a say in it. In other words, this also implies that we're going to actively make a decision, and we're actively going to probably do something because we're putting in effort here with the Six of Pentacles. And I really love the synergy here because we do have the IVVI. So we have the Roman numerals exactly mirroring each other in these two cards. And I want to see, because I'm curious. Spirit, what's the highest we can achieve? Hidden paths, awareness, yes, mindfulness, self-mastery. In other words, taking charge. It's that Emperor mode. And earthing, grounding, centering, connecting. Yes, taking control, but for us to do that, we have to stay grounded. We have to find our center. We have to realize that we need a stable foundation in order to accomplish something. And when we do that, when we ground, we tune out negative energies, we center ourselves, we create a stable foundation, and we gain clarity, we gain focus to take said action. Which, this is the new deck, and I love it to death. So, I will literally show you these cards. I will happily show you these cards. Okay, and near future. That's kind of an obvious one. We have the Two of Swords. In other words, we have choices. And we're going to have to make a choice. Remember, we're going to have to embody that Emperor energy, or at least we're hoping to embody that Emperor energy. Before, we were offered choices with the Seven of Cups, but we took no action. And we're going to be faced with the choice again. And it may be a reoccurring choice. And this time, the universe may actually force us to take a left or a right. There may be no choice is a choice. But it's nice if we actively choose. Alright, and we're going to move right on to advice. We have the Empress in reverse and the King of Swords in reverse. And I'm sorry, but I'm reading this so much as advice you're giving yourself. You may be unfocused and not quite honest with yourself. And you may not be compassionate with yourself when you're speaking. So negative self-talk is probably going on. You are probably not treating yourself well. And if this is somebody else doing this to you, don't tolerate it, please. But I'm gonna pull a card on this because I have a feeling that it is you. And actually, I think I want this Oracle deck again. Spirit, can you clarify this advice here? The Empress in reverse and the King of Swords in reverse. And that was a lot. Blood Moon, beginnings, endings, and clean slates. Well, I asked for advice. We're going to get it. Spirit and matter paradox, between realms and equilibrium. In other words, regaining balance. Yeah, as things change, you're going to have to bring balance back to yourself. It's that grounding energy that we pulled earlier. It's best if you have that and realize that that is good for you to do. Kindred spirits, rewilding, true nature, and self-love. Self-love, there you go. That is that being kind to yourself. You may not be talking and speaking to yourself very kindly. Please remember that your mindset is everything. Be nice to yourself. Predator and prey, chasing, grasping, obsession. The lowest that we could achieve. Remember, I pulled that devil card. That's that attachment, that obsession, the distractions that you may see. Try to avoid that if you can. Remember, focus. This is one of the reasons why you want that grounding exercise so much. Wolf Moon, restoration, incubation, and growth. Okay, I see this as our star card. We're trying to grow, trying to heal. Also, how we talk to ourselves. Be careful how you speak to yourself. Thoughts become things. Be kinder to yourself, please. And like I said, if this is somebody else who's giving you bad advice or is mistreating you verbally, don't put up with it. Ocean tides, individuality, strength, and formlessness. I don't think it's up yet. I probably haven't posted it, but I did do kind of like a deep dive through this video, and I'm going to repeat some of this commentary that I did on that video about this card because I love it. Ocean tides. Water is not weak, not by any means. It is formless. Yes, it takes the shape of its container. However, rock will lose to water. It will erode it in time. That does not mean it is fast moving or anything like that, but that does not negate its strength. It is actually a very strong element, even though it can be vulnerable. Remember, water represents emotions and dreams and hopes, as well as spirituality. So yes, individuality and strength. Remember who you are at your core. That ties in with that chameleon card. Remember, society makes you wear a mask. Learn to speak your truth. Be vulnerable if you can. It's okay. It's not a weakness. But at the same time, be authentic with yourself. You are an individual. You are not a sheep amongst the herd. Remember, you are a person and you are unique. And if you need to tell yourself that, I am unique, I have self-worth, I am valid, do so. Mischief and mayhem, freedom, surrender, and abandon. I want to say this is so much to surrendering, kind of how you see yourself, how you're speaking to yourself, letting go. And part of what you're healing, you're going to have to let certain things go. And part of that may very well be how you treat yourself. That may be the essence of something that needs to go since this came up this way. Okay. And our environment, we have the Five of Cups, the Six of Wands, and the Four of Wands. And again, I'm noticing not so much the Five of Cups, but we have VIIV. It's reminiscent of this up here where we had IVVI. So synchronicities, beware. We have tons of them right here. Five of Cups, Six of Wands, Four of Wands. Environment. We may not be happy with how things are. It might actually sadden us. We may actually be grieving something, especially if we have to cut it out or something has left. But there's still victory and success. We have freedom. We have stability. Remember, this is a foundation card. So if the world seems like it's crumbling all around you, if things are looking down, if the way society is going, the way things in the country are going, because let's face it, we have a pandemic and there's still a war, inflation, there's people that are without jobs. Remember who you are at your core. Remember your foundation. Remember, your circumstances do not dictate who you are. Do not let it get you down. You are more than that. You deserve to be more than that. You are worthy of more than that. And actually, there might be more more coming in for you, because this is a rewards card as well, and this is a celebration card. So we might actually be having an influx in our environment. Something may actually be coming in that's for the betterment. Spirit, can you clarify this environment, the Five of Cups, Six of Wands, and the Four of Wands for me, please? Spirit, can you clarify the environment for me, please? Spirit, can you clarify the Five of Cups, Six of Wands, and Four of Wands for me, please? He acts like he wanted to give it to me from this deck, but I guess not, which is weird, because one card almost leapt out already, and I almost wanted to say change instead of clarify. So if I pull a Tower on this, that will be hilarious, but very valid. Alright, Spirit, can you clarify the environment here, this Five of Cups, Six of Wands, and Four of Wands for me, please? Alright. And we're getting some of the same cards here. We have the Emperor, the Devil, the High Priestess, the Strength in reverse, and the Shaman. So we pulled this card, and this card for our Seven of Pentacles, our lowest position. Okay, so they're kind of giving it to me both ways. We may be discouraged by our environment. It may feel like we can't go on. We don't have the strength to go on. That why bother? That fortitude that says that we have the endurance to persist may be lacking, and part of our outside influence and what we see from day to day, what's going on in the world, may dampen that. The energy itself may dampen that. Remember, we have Mars in retrograde, so that slows things down. So progress on a whole scale is slowed down. And if we're speaking to ourselves with this advice in a negative way, that shoots down our self-confidence, which, of course, then again, doesn't make us feel good. But we do have a strong foundation. We have the Emperor showing up again for you. So we do have the ability to control things in our environment. Our environment is very noisy. However, here's that Devil card again. We are going to have things come up to distract us, whether that's in the media, current events, just the hubbub of regular life that drowns out all that noise, the white noise all the time. And this is, I think, where we're getting our success, is if we're able to calm things, if we're taking control enough and ignoring the noise, we have the ability to have insight with this High Priestess card. Despite all that, despite maybe not wanting to endure or having the covenants to endure, we can create. We still have the ability, the power itself to influence and create our environment. Think of it as a ripple effect. You make waves. So even if it's just one finger being poked into the surface of the water and that's your effort, it still carries outward. I'm amused that we still have these 3 cards that showed up down here show up again. But I like what else came out with it. That's good. So yes, there is a foundation. There is a positive to your environment. You do have an influence on it. And actually, you know what? I think I'm going to pull another card on environment. Spirit, can you clarify the environment for me, please? Let's see what they say here. Ooh, yep, that was a lot. And I have a feeling we're going to get a lot of the same cards. Look at that. Individuality, strength, and formlessness. Remember, we just had strength in the reverse from the Tarot of Dragons. So yeah, everything going bad in the world may knock you down, but remember how much strength you have, how much resilience. Pick yourself back up. And remember your individuality. Actually facing against the crowd is an okay thing. Being unique is something vital. Don't be afraid of being unique. And going against the tide when you're in an environment that says you should be something else. Mischief and mayhem, freedom, here you go. And your environment, your 4 of Wands, this is the same thing because this is a freedom card. Sorry, but you have to pay attention to the synchronicities because you're going to have a lot of them in this reading, I already know. Awakening, epiphany, enlightenment, higher calling. When we have the higher calling right here in our Heart of the Matter, that is our Judgment card. And yes, you may have a bit of awakening, realizing what's going on and how you have an effect on things, how it's all interconnected, how things happen and how you respond and how that makes you feel. Don't be surprised if you might be having a little bit of a dark night of the soul this full moon. It would not shock me, especially considering we also just had eclipse season not that long ago. Remember, eclipse energy is going to last until April. But most of this, I think, is that epiphany, realizing that we do have an effect. We do have more control about our environment and what happens in it. It's that Emperor card showing up again right here. Like I said, synchronicities, you're going to see a lot of the same cards. Okay, shadow and light. Demons, shadow self, integration. Some of our darker self can be influenced from the outside world. Our own demons sometimes are created because of how society functions. Some of our demons are actually coping mechanisms. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because this ties into that 5 of Cups over here in your environment, and needing to integrate that, realize what your trauma is, expose it for what it is, where it comes from, pause, take a look at it, and try to assimilate that to where you understand it. Be friends with your shadow, realize why it's there, what created it, and that's how you take that sadness and transform it from the 5 of Cups through the 6 of Wands into the 4 of Wands. You literally take sadness, something that you may have picked up or as a coping mechanism, a scar, and heal it, transform it, have success, victory with it, and make it part of your foundation, because that will basically bring 2 halves of yourself together in a way. It's like 2 broken pieces, and you'll be stronger for it. That's what that is there for. Wolf Moon, restoration, incubation, and growth. This is to grow. And we have to grow inside our environment. We have to grow where we are. Grow where we currently are, not where we've been, because we don't live in the past. And as much as we like a brighter future, we don't live in the future. We live in the now. So we have to grow where we are. Okay, which brings us to a hope. and a fear. So we have the Two of Wands, the Four of Cups, Temperance in reverse, the Eight of Cups, and Four of Pentacles. Remember, this is a hope and a fear. Sorry, I'm going to lay these down all right here so we can see them all at once. That way I'm not shakily, holding them up to you. Because that's a handful. That's 5 cards. And I can't, my hands are small. So for a while we've been waiting, contemplating. We've been pondering things. And not always with patience on the things that are out of balance, out of whack. But the hope is that we actually move on from that place of imbalance and not taking any action. That we move on from that, hopefully towards a more stable, more secure environment. Whether that's, internally, out, externally, either or, doesn't matter, within, without, as above, so below. We're just wanting to get to a more secure place, and that is our hope, is that we actually make that transition. And here it shows up as the Eight of Cups, which is really nice. Now, at the same time, if we look at this from a fear point of view, we could be worried about the things that we're leaving behind. Things that we may not want to let go or transform easily. We may be clutching a little too tightly. That may be how a fear of not wanting to let go manifests. We may actually do the opposite of walking away and grab on a lot. I have to put that there because we do have the Four of Pentacles there at the end. And we do have that choice in the near future. And as much as I could advise you to let go, it's easier said than done. So I have to read it all as a hope and a fear. I would really love to just read this as a hope, but yeah, can't always do that. And I think, you know what? I think I'm going to pull more cards on this. Spirit, would you clarify this hope and a fear? Okay. Nope, that's really all they want. Okay, let's look what we have here. The nest, spiritual hearth, comfort, well-being. Yes, we are hoping to have better well-being, and whether that's in the now or what we're changing, that is always the hope, that we have betterment. The witching hour, spirit work, mystery, the unknown. Okay, the unknown here and mystery. This is what we're fearing. Change. We may fear change because with change, oftentimes comes the unknown. If we don't know what the other side of that change is, we tend to ignore it or walk away from it, not choose it, even though something quite joyous could be on the other side. It could prevent us from literally making the choice. Spirit and matter, paradox between realms, equilibrium. That's that balance. We have the Temperance right here in reverse. So bringing everything into balance. That's hopefully what we are changing. I'm actually glad that came up, because the next card here is Autumn Winds, new paths, changes, unseen forces. Like I said, the unknown is scary, but with changes comes new direction. And if we walk away from certain things, leave certain things behind, we get something different. We get a new perspective. We get a new viewpoint, that new direction. And yes, it will bring unseen things. And sometimes that is scary. That in and of itself can be scary. Underworld, the shadow realm, reincarnation. The reincarnation, I'm seeing this more as a rebirth. You're revamping yourself. So self-improvement. And yes, this does mean shadow realm, integrating part of your shadow. So yes, you may have to face some of your shadows and get well acquainted with them and hopefully integrate them. And that itself can be hard work and can be scary. Some people don't like to look their shadow self in the eye. It is strange, it is foreign, it is not things that we like about ourselves. By definition, it is things that we are not acquainted with, and that can be terrifying in and of itself. We may shy away just for that reason. Okay, which brings us to our outcome, and there is a lot of cards. I have cards that are completely off screen that you can't see because we have so many of them. So I'm going to actually bring this, whoop, if I stop throwing them all around the table, I'm going to bring these back into center, and you'll see how many cards we have here. It's a lot. And there's the last two. So from here to here, these are all your cards for your outcome. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. You have 17 cards for your outcome, which is admittedly a lot. Like a lot. So we're going to go through and show you some of what these cards are so you can see them. We have the 5 of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, the 10 of Cups, the Hierophant, the 8 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles, the 6 of Cups, the 9 of Wands, the Chariot, the Moon card, 2 of Pentacles, the 9 of Swords reversed, the Page of Swords, the 2 of Cups reversed, the Hanged Man reversed, the Magician, and the World. Okay, so hopefully in our outcome, we're going from a place of lacking, so a place where we're scared, we're discontent. It goes with that 5 of Cups. We're not happy. The energy is not in our favor at all. And hopefully we're moving on. We're being bold. We're moving on towards happiness, what makes us more fulfilled, and hopefully with more balanced emotions, you know, irreparably. And we're learning about self. This is self-mastery. So we've learned something about ourselves. We've learned a lesson. Hopefully that means we've also integrated part of ourself, which is very, very rewarding in itself because we feel more whole. And when we feel more whole on the inside, that has a cause and effect to our outside. And we've learned from the past. What we've integrated is from the past. Something that scars, battles, wounds. It's that Chiron energy. Wounded Warrior, Knight of Wands. It's actually persisting. So even if we have that negative self-talk, if we're not treating ourselves well, we've learned to have better boundaries with ourselves and with others. We've learned from the past. We've learned what doesn't work for us. We've actually healed enough to move forward despite the fear, despite that unknown, because the unknown keeps coming up. We're moving past that point of, okay, there's something scary up ahead. Do I turn back or do I go forward? We're moving through that fear in spite of that fear to bring balance, which is very good as far as an outcome. And we're getting rid of stress. Like I said, part of what we're healing could be coping mechanisms. It could be depression. It could be any type of mental anxiety or any type of mental health issue. We may be learning new ways of coping or adjustments, or at least learning where things come from, and that decreases our stress, because once we start integrating, we start healing, that will lessen. Or we've learned how much we can and cannot control our environment, and that brings us more stability to handle and minimize our stress because of what we've learned. So we've got a little bit clearer picture. We've got more focus on how things are going. A little bit more clarity. Whereas before we had a little bit of indecision between what is our past, recent past, and what is going to be our future choices by the outcome. We've got a little bit more of a clue, and we're not so afraid to investigate things because we've moved on from that bit of fear. So we're not as afraid to actually look our shadows in the eye so much. Especially where we're not as connected. So the Two of Cups, of course, is you and your shadow self. They're two different entities. They should be more of one. There's you and your higher self, you and your shadow self. Getting a little bit clear on what needs to be integrated, what's still left to do is easier. Like I said, you're able to look your shadow self more in the eye and adjust as needed. And you're not stuck. You've gained that new perspective, and you're moving on. You're actually not standing still on it anymore, which means the next time something comes up for shadow work, you're probably more prone to, like I said, look it in the eyes and actually do something about it, because of you've learned something about yourself with the Six of Cups, and that will stick with you because you've created a new way of operating, a new way of interacting with yourself. You have more control. Part of this is your Emperor card that kept showing up is now here in the Magician. You have the ability to control how things go. And it closes down your cycle. So what was unhealed is healed. The cycle is closed. A new one begins. And it's great because you have the Magician card right here, right before this new cycle. So you have complete control on how this next cycle begins. And you stand in a place of power for that next new cycle. Having that strength, that resilience, realizing that you're able to do something about it makes the next chapter easier. Like I said, by the time this is over, if you put in the work and you start integrating your shadow, it becomes easier over time, and it shows in your outcome. You know what? I think I want to... Spirit, can you clarify the outcome? Okay, let's see. What else? Spirit, can you clarify the outcome for me, please? Nope, they just want those cards that fell. Okay, so bleeding heart, rawness, vulnerability, compassion. Okay, so this is basically the open wound of you and being able to show yourself that self-love, having that compassion for self, realizing that you can heal, being open enough to heal, realizing you need to heal, and it ties in with this Nine of Wands card right here that's in your outcome. Healing something like this does require you to be open, to be vulnerable. And yes, it may not be comfortable. Oh, remember we start out in your outcome with the Five of Pentacles. And I told you before that that ties in with your Five of Cups in your environment. And it very much so, that has an effect on you. Wolf Moon, restoration, incubation, and growth. Yes, this is about growth, moving forward. Remember, grow where you are, inside and out. Shadow and light, self, shadow self, integration. This is why I kept saying that once you face your demons and realize where they come from, it becomes easier. Integration. Awakening, epiphany, enlightenment, higher calling. You will be able to do this easier next time. You have more of an idea of what you're doing. That unknown is not quite as scary because you've faced it. You're doing it anyway. So the fear will be less and less each time. It may feel a little bit different, but it'll be less and less. You will have more courage to do this, to heal other wounds. So you'll be more likely to answer the call the next time something is being presented to you to heal. And actually, I think I may want to use Tarot of Dragons again. Spirit, anything else about the outcome? And if the Emperor card comes out, I'm going to laugh. Spirit, do you have anything else with the outcome? Oh. Okay, we have the Fool, the Four of Wands, the Seven of Wands, the Five of Wands, the Sire of Cups, which is the King of Cups, the Five of Pentacles now in reverse, and your Four of Swords. Okay, your Fool ties in with this closing of a cycle, beginning of a new. Lovely Fool card. Four of Wands. So this is a cause for celebration, but it's also something for you to have a foundation. So by the time this cycle closes and you begin the next one, you've laid the foundation of shadow work. Like I said, it will be easier the next time because you've built a foundation. You have a starting point. You're able to stand your ground better. You feel more stable. You feel more secure. So the next time you go for another round of doing this, you'll have enough stability, enough, I suppose, self-will, enough, how do I want to say that? Enough boundaries in the right place with yourself and with others that when you go through this process, it will be easier. It won't be quite so scary. It won't be so daunting. You may not be near as defensive with others while you go through this process. And while you're in the midst of conflict, not serious conflict, this is not the Five of Swords, this is the Five of Wands, but while things are shifting in the next cycle, you should be able to have more compassion for yourself. Remember, this is your King of Cups. You'll be gentler with yourself. you'll be able to manage your emotions better in this new cycle because you've done this already. And you won't feel like you're lacking something or you're missing out on something, because you'll know from experience that what's on the other side is usually something more beneficial, because what you're getting rid of is something that doesn't serve you. And that can put your mind at ease. Alright. Put this over here. Alright, my lovelies. That's it for this new moon, or not new moon, full moon in Gemini for December 2022. If any of this resonated for you, please let me know in the comment section down below. Please slam that like button. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe this video all over the place if you would. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.